little tired, but that's okay.
Which,
Are we good yet?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, we can.
How's everybody doing, man? How's everything?
Doing good. Doing all right.
We made it through another weekend.
We did. We did. In this Rona life, we made it through another weekend.
Leo season has ended.
Yeah, nigga, and Virgo season has begun. What we've all been waiting for. You know what I mean?
You people don't know. Y'all people don't know how good y'all have it, man.
Yeah, yeah.
When Leo season is among us. You guys are savages.
I mean, listen. I mean, they hate us for a reason, right? Like, I'm excited. Your birthday just passed. Mine is coming up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But, like, August flew fucking by. It really did flew. Like, all these months. Like,
All these months.
It's like we jumped in a time warp from March to now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't really remember much.
Yeah.
It's just, we're just here.
Yeah.
We're here now. And I can't really put a finger on it, on what the feeling is, but it just feels, it's just weird, man. This whole year has been
A kermuffin? Is that a word?
a kermuffin,
Kermuffin? I know I've heard that somewhere.
a kerfuffle,
Kerfuffle, yeah.
or a fucking, or a quandary, a quagmire, or
Internet, figure that out.
yeah.
That's all I'm here for.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, we starting again.
Yeah. So the weekend was interesting, man. My weekend was good.
Wait. Forget before you start you have an apology to you have an apology to give.
Apology.
We have to start off. CJ.
Listen, man.
Yeah.
We start off the episode, we just straight up apologize.
No. We are because this is how we're gonna do it now. Fuck our weekends. You had an apology you had to give.
Okay.
You had an apology you had to give, and you have to give apologies first and foremost.
All right, fine.
All right.
Is this the camera? Is that the camera?
That's to stare directly into the camera. Stare directly into the camera and give your formal apology.
Kemba Walker, I apologize to you, sir. I have completely disrespected you on the defensive side of the basketball. Sir, you are a top-tier defensive point guard in the NBA. I apologize.
You got to speak to the mic. He ain't hearing you.
Yo, I spoke to the mic and I spoke to the camera.
He got to hear that. He's hard to hear. He's all the
apologies, dog.
Dog, you see these apologies? He's down in Orlando. How he's supposed to hear that?
Yo, listen. He's also listen to the show, man. He'll listen to it then.
Yo, listen. I want you guys to understand. The reason why Jermie has to give this apology is because, and I'm not going to be able to say verbatim, but I know I could, in quotes, Jermie said, this was off mic, right, a few weeks ago. I'm tired of the Celtics with these, of years of having these Celtics point guards that are scorers and they can't defend for shit, right? And I'm like, whoa, granted, we did have Isaiah Thomas, who was a liability. We did have Kyrie Irving, who was on the moon. You know what I mean? And
Kemba's in his first year with us, so I'm sorry.
But I'm
sorry. I was more focused on him as an offensive player because you never saw Kemba Walker defensive highlights when he was with Charlotte.
Yeah, but
that isn't Kemba's fault. That's my fault.
You're acting like you said this in November or some shit. You said this shit in July and August. After we done seen a whole season of Kemba Walker and his activeness on defense, and he takes charges and he tries to get charges.
It really does.
You know what I mean?
It really does.
And I'm like, when I was taken aback when Jermie said that. I'm like, really?
Listen, I apologize. All right. See, this is the problem. This
with
is
America?
The problem with apologies. No. People apologize, and instead of people say, okay, you know what? He apologized. Let's accept it and move on. You go for your pound of flesh.
Yeah. That's what America taught me. We don't just forgive people. We don't just after they give apologies. No, he needs to like atone to me, even though he didn't disrespect me. He needs to, until I'm satisfied.
It's ridiculous. Well, anyways,
yes.
Shout out to the Celtics, man. We got the Sixers up out of here in 4.
We did.
I forgot my broom. Damn.
Yeah.
We swept them up out of here.
Yeah,
there wasn't anything gentlemanly about it. Too.
No.
I said Celtics
aggressive.
in 5. I thought the Sixers could pull one out.
Yeah.
And then we swept them up out of here. Damn, it was crazy.
Crazy.
Great series on our part.
You think it's still a sweep if Ben Simmons was playing? Or gentleman sweep at that?
No.
Yeah.
If Ben Simmons plays it, I think we still beat them.
Yeah, I think we beat them in 6.
But
it's
yeah,
not a 7-game series.
Nah. That team, Like, I mean, I saw it at the beginning of the year. Like, before, like, yeah. Like, I want to give kudos to the Celtics first off, but we'll get into the Sixers. Like, I saw at the beginning of the year, you lose JJ Redick, you give Tobias Harris all that money, you sign Al Horford, you lose Jimmy Butler, you lose TJ McConnell, that team can't shoot.
Yeah.
They can't shoot. And you cannot survive in this league in 2020 without shooting.
Yeah.
You can't. And it's like the Sixers are a mess.
Yeah.
They're a complete mess. Like, what do you think they need to do from now? Like what could they do at this point?
I think they need to destroy and rebuild, and the only player worth holding on to is Joel Embiid. Everybody else needs to and should go. That includes Ben Simmons. You could get a nice haul for them.
Yeah.
And you could get some nice young talent around Joel Embiid. All he needs is shooters. And the league is a plethora of shooters right now. Yeah. Get rid of everybody that's not a shooter. Keep Joel Embiid. That's it.
It's funny because Ben Simmons was working on his shot too, like early in the year.
He was.
And then he just stopped.
He was. And that's the thing, right? It's like he's always working on his shot. I'm like, it's like the Andrew Luck kind of thing with me when I think of Ben Simmons. It's like people continuously try to like make excuses for him.
Yeah.
And excuses for his like poor play or his inability to do things. And it's like, how are you it's year 3 that he's actually played, but he got drafted 4 years ago. So he's on the same line of Jaylen Brown, same draft. But they love grouping him with like other players as if he's development. But like, no, you were in the league. You travel with the team. You practice with professional coaches and all that. I know people want to not count his rookie year, but because he didn't play, but you did everything around playing though. You already had. The biggest question is going into that rookie and why I thought he shouldn't have won Rookie of the Year. I thought Donovan Mitchell should have won is because when he already had going into that same year with Donovan Mitchell and all of them, you had a year of experience of what the road was like, what NBA life was like, and what NBA training is like, and all those with the coaches, et cetera, et cetera. So when I look at him, and I'm like, people that say, "Oh, well, he's working on his jumper." Who do we give that line?
How many different injuries he's gone through now as well?
Yeah, like he's missed so many, so many games.
So 4 years since he's been drafted, and how many games has he actually played over those 4 years?
Yeah, I remember like somebody said the stat where it was like 100 and something.
Alex,
he's played like the total really of like maybe 2 seasons.
Total
in
numbers
4
of
years.
Games played by Ben Simmons. I know he's been in every All-Star game, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And like Clutch Sports is doing a hell of a job marketing him and making sure that he's a marquee name. But
I was reading this great article the other day about Instagram culture and social media culture when it comes to athletes now. And we're coming into that generation now where a lot of this is hype machine stuff, right? Because think about this. Ben Simmons and Jaylen Brown came out in the same draft. Okay?
This says he's played 217 games.
217 games
so
of a potential
5 games a year. Maybe.
Of a potential 328 because 82 games a season. Yeah. And so he's played those games and that counts postseason. I'm sure. Yeah, that counts postseason in games played as well.
It's on Google, like on the front page of Google, so it doesn't really tell me much, so I'm assuming. Right.
So it's like when you want to add in.
So roughly he's played about 52 to 55 games a year since he's been drafted. One of those years he missed completely. That was the year he was drafted.
Yeah.
And then second year he came back, got injured. Third year he came back, got injured. This is 4th year, got injured.
Yeah, I don't know about last year. I don't know if he was injured last year.
Oh, I know he was definitely in the playoffs last year. Right?
Yeah, he was in the playoffs. Yeah,
I'll count that as not being injured then.
But
anyways, like about the hype machine behind some of these players, it's like, so you mean to tell me Ben Simmons and Jaylen Brown came out in the same draft, and I heard nothing of Jaylen Brown until we drafted him. Nothing. But all those players I could think of, I heard something from them either through social media, ESPN, hyping them up and everything. Then here comes Jaylen Brown, gets drafted, number 3, number 4 by us. And for all intents and purposes, he's had a much better career thus far than Ben Simmons, minus the hype, just looking at the numbers. But at the same time, they're responsible for 2 completely different things on their team. I mean, Ben Simmons is responsible for running your offense.
Yeah.
You know, he's supposed to negate the fact that y'all ain't got no shooters because he's so good. He turns everybody into shooters. Yeah. He's gonna draw so much attention going to the paint. Everybody's getting these wide open looks.
Yeah, it's just the
But even then, like that team's too top heavy. You got two superstars. Ben Simmons is a superstar to me.
Superstar?
Ben Simmons is superstar talent. Superstar talent. He isn't a
how you superstar talent? Nigga can't even shoot.
Yeah, you can't shoot.
That's
my whole point about Ben Simmons. In comparison him to Jalen and someone, I only compare them because they were in the same draft together. They have completely two different responsibilities. Like you said, it's just the expectations that we have of them and how Ben Simmons is allowed to just not shoot at all. And we can, like, how could we even start a conversation and comparing? Because imagine if we said Jaylen Brown does not shoot.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
He would get killed. Yeah, in this day and age, we look at bigs like, oh, you're not stretching the floor? No. If Embiid couldn't stretch the floor, if Giannis wasn't working on his jumper, Giannis is an MVP and he still can't shoot. He's going to be a 2-time MVP and he still can't shoot as well, but he tries. Yeah. He makes the attempts. But you have Ben Simmons out here. Yes, 6'9", 6'10", whatever, can handle the ball, can pass, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, why are we allowing, when we know that's going to open up so much game? Pretty much, how do you have so much patience for Ben Simmons and had none for Markelle Fultz?
Well, that has nothing to do with the players, though. It has to do with two things, marketing, and number two, just bad management to begin with. The 76ers haven't managed this well at all in terms of the front office.
No.
The only thing they've done well, they've drafted well, but what have they done? They've listened to outside media for too long about what's going on with their players. When they let go of Markelle Fultz, that's when I know, okay, you guys are terrible. Because up until that point, it was all on the same board, right? Trust the process. You're drafting all these guys. Your top picks have Embiid, superstar talent. When you're drafting Simmons, he's perceived as a superstar talent. When you draft Markelle Fultz, he's perceived as a. Let me finish. He's perceived as a superstar talent. They didn't what?
No, my point is they didn't always draft well. Let's not forget about homie from Boston, two people that was who were local. Nerlens Noel, they drafted, and with a top pick they drafted. What's his name? I can't remember what the hell his name is. I think he play. I don't even know where he is right now. Like I know he's in a league somewhere.
Okay, well, let me get back to the point about those three players they drafted. You draft Embiid, you draft Simmons, you draft Markelle Fultz. They're all perceived coming out of the draft as being superstar talents. They're all come into their rookie years having wild injuries where essentially they're useless that first year. They're just rehabbing their rookie seasons, right? But since that rehab, they've all essentially been injury prone, but shown they still have elite level talent despite their discrepancies. Now talk about the talent, right? Because when you draft people, even with Nerlens Noel, when they drafted him, when I recite the hype about Nerlens when he was coming out, oh, he's going to be a superstar in the NBA. That was a part of the hype machine. It didn't pan out. So they still drafted on potential, right? So you draft these three guys on potential. You see that when healthy, they live up to the superstar hype and they play that damn good. Just that all three of them cannot play healthy. And my whole issue with the whole hype machine, them getting too much into is they never should have traded Markelle Fultz.
No, they shouldn't have.
They shouldn't have. The kids coming in, my whole idea is when you draft a rookie, you're going to hold on to him for 4 years just to see what happens.
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst, you let him go into free agency.
Yeah, you don't extend him
see what happens. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but you listen to this hype machine, oh, he's done. And you're like, no, let the kid figure it out, get healthy. You're drafting on potential anyways. And we all see what Markelle Fultz is doing now. So that front office right now, listen, I don't know ownership. It's Philly. Who cares? At the end of the day, they could be terrible, but they need to figure things out. And from my perspective, when you have two of your superstars that are that injury prone, one of them have to go because you can't rely on two players that are like that at this point. So you need to say, okay, from my perspective, you let go of Ben Simmons, and then you build around Joel Embiid.
Yeah, to be honest, I see that. I agree with building. If anyone you're going to build around is going to be Joel Embiid. Even though the biggest, it's like my issue with all their draft picks is even though that they have elite talent, star talent on those teams in Joel Embiid, in Simmons, even with Fultz, I see a lot of talent in Fultz. It's just that like from top to bottom, the Philadelphia 76ers have been run like just terribly from top to bottom. Ownership,
Is
management,
still the GM
he is. Yeah. But it's not even on just on him. It's on Hinkie as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Hinkie before him. Yeah. Like when you look at these, you look at these drafts. And Alec, did you find?
Yeah. So was it Jahlil Okafor?
Yes, Jahlil Okafor. Mm-hmm. So from Okafor, Embiid, Noel, Simmons, Fultz. The Sixers sucked for so long that they lived at the top of the draft. Mm-hmm. They lived at the top of the draft. And when and we're Celtics fans, so it's hard for us to not juxtapose our picks versus their picks. We're a team that we have the most championships in the NBA. We've won championships in recent memory. We've been in the playoffs consistently for the past almost 20 years. When we got a shot to draft high with having the number 3 pick 2 years in a row, we picked Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. We had the number 1 pick in the Jason Tatum draft. We traded to Philly, and we went from 1 to the 3 pick. We let them pick Markelle Fultz and fucking Lonzo Ball ahead of Jason Tatum.
Classic.
You know what I mean? Like,
shout out to Danny Ainge.
And I could go back to the year before, but shout out to Ingram. I give it Ingram. It was worth the pick. Mm-hmm. And who was the number 2 pick in that draft? I think Ingram was an Ingram 2. I forgot who was the number 1 pick in the draft, in the Jaylen Brown draft, in the 2017 or the 16 draft. Either way.
Was it Ben Simmons?
Yeah, it was Ben Simmons. What am I saying? Yeah, it was Ben Simmons. It was Ben Simmons, Ingram, Brown. Okay. And so that means, and you ask me, who would I rather? I'd rather Ingram or Brown over Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Ingram, probably most improved player this year, first-time All-Star, and that's someone that would be. Could you imagine Ingram or Brown next to Joel Embiid? You know, they wouldn't have any of these. They wouldn't have these issues, and that would have given you more incentive to keep Markelle Fultz. You know what I mean? Because he actually is a point guard rather than you draft a point guard number 1 when you have Ben Simmons, who you're trying to make the ball handler, the point guard. Like,
well, that was the thing. I think back when they drafted Markelle Fultz, that's when they originally wanted to have this plan of switching Ben to like the 3 or to the 4. I think that was the original idea behind it. Then Markelle comes in injured. They can't play together. And then when they do let him come back, and opposite of the Gordon Hayward effect, right? Okay. Remember my whole idea, hey, Gordon Hayward got injured. Mentally, he plays a little suspect when he gets around the rim. Similar to Markelle Fultz, he comes back. But he's a rookie. He could overcome that quicker than a veteran who has to readjust his psyche. You know?
Yeah.
So when Markelle Fultz did come back, they had him coming off the bench. They started him a few times, but the entire process, they just had him coming off the bench. I was like, no, you need to start him the same way you started Joel when he came back, minute restriction.
Because they didn't trust the process.
Yeah, they didn't trust the process.
Yeah.
You know? And shame on them.
Yeah. That's the whole point.
If I had been there from the jump, all 3 of them would have been together the same way. We're going to keep Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown here together.
Yeah. No matter what.
Y'all need to figure out that fan club, how we start that up.
I'm sure it's already there. I don't think it's more so a fan club. I think we just have to threat Danny Ainge.
Straight up.
We just have to threaten Danny Ainge. That's really what it is.
You know what?
You know what I mean?
I have a purpose for my Twitter account.
Yeah.
I'm going to be tweeting Danny Ainge.
Yeah,
by the way, just don't trade these guys.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't trade these guys.
Like, you don't want us to show up at your crib. Like, because we will show up.
That's my
But yeah, like, and like, it's not from a drafting standpoint, player development standpoint, like, and just how I love Joel Embiid, but he's so immature.
Yeah.
He's so immature. I do not trust I trust Joel Embiid's talent. Mm-hmm. I don't trust his body because I think he's out of shape.
Yeah, he looked a little big last night.
Yeah, and he looks. The thing is, like I said, Joel Embiid is like the opposite of like Zion to me. It's like Zion looks like a big ball of muscle that's just ready to explode at any time, and you see it in the way he plays. He has bounce. Joel is very flat-footed in everything he does,
very
but
sluggish,
very sluggish. But then he'll explode and show you like some wild athleticism, and I'm like, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
He looks like a guy that doesn't know how to manage his weight yet.
Is it that, or do you think it's just laziness?
That probably too.
Yeah.
That probably too. So it's like it's like I don't trust his body, and I don't trust his leadership. He's not a good leader. Like, you're sitting up here like him getting eliminated, and they ask him like, what do you think is wrong? What are the issues with the teams? And his response is, that's a stupid question. There are no issues. Clearly there's issues. You just got swept. Don't talk to me that there's not issues. You can say some other shit, but don't tell me that. Don't tell a reporter that that's a stupid question. Like imagine if Jaylen Brown said that. Imagine if Jason Tatum said that.
Well,
you know what I mean? It would be shocking because it's like, it will be shocking because that's not the culture that we allow in the Celtics organization. Nor do we allow a culture that lets a fucking number 1 draft pick just not shoot. Yeah. Like when you play for the Celtics, it's an honor to play for the Celtics.
The haters going to be screaming out Aaron Hernandez in the comments section.
Yeah, of course they will. Of course they will. Aaron Hernandez, Patrick Holmes selling dope. All that type of shit. But that, like, when you put on that Celtic uniform, and that's what they talk about, like, culture. You're not doing that shit if you play. You're not talking that way if you play for the Celtics. You're not talking that way if you play for the Lakers. You're not talking that way if you play for the Spurs. You're not talking that way if you play for the Mavericks. It comes from the top down. And when you're sitting here as an organization, not just only in your draft picks, you're also throwing money at people. I got it like, listen, I wrote it down because I had to really, like, hear me out. They signed Tobias Harris to a 5-year, $180 million deal. $36 million per year. We're tripping over the fact that Gordon's about to pick up that option and make 34 in his last year in an expiring contract that we're going to have off the books in 2021. Al Horford, 34-year-old ass Al Horford, 4 years, $109 million, $27 million per year. Let's put that in perspective. Jaylen Brown just signed his extension, a 4-year, $107 million deal. $2 million less than what Al Horford is making. And Al Horford's contract is going to end when he's 37, 38. Jaylen Brown's is going to end when he's 27.
Sure, with the NBA economy outlook for the next couple of seasons, man, he might be expecting a pay cut too.
Who?
Jaylen Brown.
What, like after the next 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, even Tatum this year.
Yeah.
What the money Tatum was going to make in this offseason if Corona didn't happen versus what he's going to make now on that extension, I don't know. And I feel like it might be comparable. It's going to be comparable to what Ben Simmons got. So Ben Simmons, and you see how many games he's missed. His extension
was nuts.
Goes into effect next year, 5 years, $170 million, $34 million a year. Joel Embiid, 5 years, $147 million, $30 million per year. And I'm like, and I use the Celtics contracts to put that in perspective. Like the Jaylen Brown, 27 per, Kemba 35 per, Hayward is going to be 33 per, but 34 next year. And Tatum is probably going to land at like what Ben Simmons got at like 5 years, probably, I would say probably $180 million. Which we can take because we can go over the cap. That's bird rights. It's not like we're signing him, but they went out. The Sixers went out and signed old ass Al Horford. Signed, did they have Tobias Harris's bird rights? I don't think they did. They had to sign him outright.
Yeah, that's on.
So that cap space.
You only have burn rights when you draft someone.
Yeah,
right?
when you draft him.
Yeah, he wasn't drafted by them.
No, but either you draft him or the contract that was traded was the bird right.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like for instance, like the Magic. The Magic have Markelle Fultz's bird rights.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't draft him.
No.
But yeah, it's like.
Yeah, even then Tobias been cutting stuff. I don't know.
Tobias Harris is making $36 million a year. Tobias Harris.
Well, the thing is, like, that's the thing though. It's like, I know the numbers sound crazy and they are, but that's just the market of how money was like back then. Like,
yeah,
even,
but you
even
should
role players was just getting that type of bread.
I understand, but
you know?
I understand like the money, but it's you still didn't have to do it, or you didn't have to spend like let me ask this: why didn't the Sixers try and get Kemba Walker? Why are you in the sweepstakes in the trade to try and pull off the trade? Why weren't you trying to get Kawhi?
Well, remember, this goes back to the original point. They're a terrible organization to begin with because the only reason they're in the position to have this plethora of talent is every year they fucking sucked.
Yeah.
They're a terrible organization. And organizations like that, all they do is become factories for the good teams like the Lakers and the Celtics. But okay, let the Sixers get these players developing for us, and we'll sign them in the offseason when they become a free agent or whatever. Or we'll trade for them, give them some basketballs because they think this guy's terrible and this guy could be a fucking 10-year all-star. Depending on the organization that they're in.
But here's the thing, that I agree with that. If that was 100% true.
In other words, like abolish the 76ers. Yeah. Fuck their fan base. Fuck you, Philly.
Because it's like, can you do of the players that they drafted, right? The players that have been on the Sixers, who do you want on the Celtics?
Oh my goodness.
I don't want any of them.
You saying of the 76ers players that are drafted, who would I want on the Celtics?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have to change anything else about our team in terms of our makeup.
I mean, you're gonna have to take their contract.
Yeah, well, hypothetically speaking, let's say I could do this and we still somehow, some way end up with all the players we have. I'm taking Joel Embiid. Yeah. I'm taking that risk. I'll trust that process.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not, because I don't. Once again, I trust his skill. I don't trust his body, nor do I trust his mind. His attitude.
Yeah, mind in terms of leadership, I agree with you, but under our system, we'd have that shit in check because it's a completely different organization.
Do you want to risk it? Is there someone else that you'd rather have?
Yeah, I risk it because what's the worst case scenario? We have a great GM named Danny Ainge. We'll fucking trade him if it's not working out. I'll take the bottom line is this. I don't give a damn what his personality is like. I would take the chance on Joel Embiid as a talent. And then take the risk of our organization.
That's what they said about Kyrie.
Okay, and it didn't pan out.
Because of his attitude, because of his personality.
But guess what, though? We weren't afraid to take it on because, correct me if I'm wrong, did we offer a contract and he refused it? And then he signed with Brooklyn?
Yes.
So we offered him a contract, right? So we as an organization, despite everything that was going on, still decided he's worth taking on as a risk.
Yeah,
and he said no and he left.
In
retrospect, we signed Kemba and we are a much better team now for it. But
so what you're saying is knowing what we know now, would you rather have Kemba or have Kyrie?
I'd rather have Kemba.
So that means that. So you're saying that knowing what you know, that would have been a mistake to sign Kyrie.
Yeah, in the retrospect of us signing Kemba directly, yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, knowing what we know now,
and
that would have been a mistake. So why would we, knowing what we went through with Kemba?
Why would we sign Joel?
Yeah, why would we sign Joel?
But to be fair,
hold on, let me answer. Because it's about being willing to take risk on certain types of talent.
And why? You think we need to take risks right now?
It's about taking risk on certain type of talent. When I think of Kyrie Irving, Joel Embiid when healthy, they are game-changing talents. You're talking about Joel Embiid, the guy who's over 7 feet, who can step back threes and defend. Like, no, who's a better defender than Joel Embiid at his position when healthy? The only person I can think of is Rudy Gobert.
Anthony Davis.
Better defender at the center position. Anthony Davis doesn't even consider himself a center, so that one doesn't even count.
Anthony Davis was also win Defensive Player of the Year.
And Anthony Davis doesn't even consider himself a center.
Okay, Bam Adebayo is better defensively.
He is not a better defensive player than Joel Embiid. But
you think he became an all-star off of his offense?
Fine. I'll respect your opinion for it. At the end of the day, Joel Embiid is the likes of those type of players that he's a game-changing talent.
He is.
Healthy,
he is.
I have no problem.
But that's too many.
I have no problems with any of our organizations taking risk on those type of players. Same thing goes for the Patriots, the Bruins, the Red Sox, whoever. I like.
But when there's other players that can,
when we have the opportunity to bring in amazing players and take the chance of taking on their personality and bringing a chip out of the process, I'm with it. Maybe I'm a wild boy.
But I feel like with the Kyrie situation, that didn't work because I feel like Kyrie came to Boston with like a different. He wanted to play a more of a leadership type role.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Joel would want to do that. I mean, we speak on his attitude and how much he's just. Joel isn't like a bad leader because like he doesn't try to lead at all. I feel like I feel like his role would just be different on the Celtics. So I think it would work a little bit easier than when Kyrie was there.
I understand what y'all are saying. I guess I'm just going by what I see.
Sure.
Versus the ifs. If Joel Embiid is healthy, if Joel Embiid doesn't want to take a leadership role. Well, what he's shown me is he's been the leader of the 76ers. He's been the vocal leader. He went and called himself the process. He's like, well, I am the process. He's the one leading. Like when you talk about any sound bites that come out of the 76ers, it's always Joel Embiid. He's the one leading on the court with his energy and all these. Like I said, it's the good and the bad. He leads. He riles up the crowd.
Let me ask you this question.
He leads in off the court and on the court and off the court. That in his culture and his personality, that's not the type of personality I want on the Celtics, because that's the type of personality that's a lot of talk. It's a whole lot of talk and it's not action. And even when they asked him, oh, what would you do you see yourself with the team? He's like, oh yeah, I mean, whatever happens, but and like he gets in his shit. And I'm like, dog, like I'm super good on a Joel Embiid when there are a lot of other players in this league that like just have the type of attitude that I like, that I like, and the type of attitude that the Celtics needed. When we had people like skilled people that were like Terry Rozier, like Marcus Morris, like Kyrie Irving, all of them were really, really skilled, really good players. But the type of attitude they had was not indicative to the type of team that the Celtics are and who I want the Celtics to be.
And
I don't think that we don't have to. We have so much young talent. We're in a point where you should have to come to us. You should conform to us. And we don't have to take any risks on anybody. That's where I'm at with it.
So let me ask you two questions, right? General question for all three of us here. Where's Joel Embiid if he gets drafted by the San Antonio Spurs under Pop?
Where is he as a player?
As a player, personality-wise. Do you think, let me, because the question I'm trying to get at to is about environment that players come into. The biggest thing is Joel Embiid got drafted as a rookie, named the face of a franchise. We've seen this done with plenty of players in the past.
Yeah.
And I just feel like what we're seeing is this is what happens when certain aspects of that go negative. So looking at him being drafted by a terrible organization like Philly versus him being drafted by the Spurs.
I agree with that.
So I hold that same type of respect for the Celtics.
But we're not drafting him though. That's different. I'm not. It's one thing when a kid comes in at 19, 20 years old.
Question though, like, would we take on Joel Embiid like with the team we had, and we were like bringing him from the beginning?
No, not the beginning. It wasn't the beginning. It was right now. It was what we know right now. Any of these players that you've seen, as you've seen the development on the Sixers, if all their draft picks, would you want any of those people on your team right now? I wouldn't. I don't want Simmons. I don't want Fultz. I don't want Okafor. I don't want Noel. I don't want Embiid. And that's what when I look at that.
I'll still take Embiid.
Yeah, when I look at that team, I'm like, by running that organization so poorly, all you've shown to me is, and that's what my original point was, is like the whole idea that the Sixers are a farm of bringing up they're the type of team that's just a farm system. They draft these players, they bring them up, and then they sign somewhere else because they, whether like Minnesota's been for many years or and things like that. I don't want anyone coming from the Sixers farm system. I would gladly take somebody that came from the Nuggets farm system. You could give me Murray, Porter, Jokic, Barton, or any of those players. Bol. I'll take that because I can trust your system as well. It's one thing if you draft poorly and then your system is shitty and then you don't keep any of these players accountable and you let bad leadership run through. And especially when you see like Al Horford go there, and then I'm going off of remember I told you like his sister be on Twitter and she don't hold back. You feel me? And Horford, y'all can look her up. She don't hold back about how frustrated she is and how they use Al Horford and how pretty much it's a leadership issue. And even they asked Josh Richardson yesterday after the game in his press conference, and he was like, yeah, next with some of our issues and stuff like that, we just have to hold each other more accountable. We have to be able to talk to each other. We have to be able, dog, that's the same type of shit that we heard about the Celtics last year. You know what I mean? And that's the shit that I don't want anybody coming from that system, to be honest.
What about the Nets system?
Yeah, I would take them. If the Sixers need to trade Simmons to the fucking them and get Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert. That would work for the Sixers. They need to get rid of those contracts. They in those contracts I just named, the Horford Harris, Simmons, Embiid, those are at least for the next 3 years. They have those contracts for the next 3 years at least. Do you see them getting any better? And they don't have any money to spend.
Yeah. For the record, if both those boys was healthy, Simmons and Embiid, I would have no problem letting them play together too. I just can't take the risk of both of them both being injury prone. That's the number one thing right there. One of your superstars being injury prone, you take that risk. Two of them, no.
Yeah, they gotta first thing, they have to fire Brett Brown. They gotta fire Elton Brand. They need to trade Tobias Harris.
Second question I want to ask too earlier. So Joel Embiid, when healthy, versus every other center in the NBA when healthy, how many centers are better than Joel Embiid?
Center. Okay, so are you? Here's a caveat to that question. Are you only counting people that are literally C's next to their names?
Yes.
Oh, come on. In this league, come on. That's like if we asked that question 10 years ago.
Fine.
Big for big. We can talk bigs.
How tall is Joel Embiid?
7 foot. 6'11", 7 foot.
I think so, yeah.
There's a big difference between 6'11" and 7 foot in the NBA right now. We'll figure this out.
In this league now, it's like whether you're a power forward or a center, it's like it really don't. Like, what is Daniel Tice? What is Robert Williams? Right. What is Canner? And back in the day,
Joel
they're centers.
Embiid, according to Google, is officially listed as 7 feet tall. Mm-hmm. How many players who are 7 feet tall or taller are better than Joel Embiid when healthy?
Anthony Davis, Giannis,
I'll put Kristaps in there.
Healthy for healthy?
Better than Joel, you're saying?
Joel Embiid when healthy. So all these players when healthy, who's the best 7 foot player listed in the NBA right now? Kevin Durant's not officially 7 feet, everybody, for those screaming at Kevin Durant.
Nah, he's 7 feet. Nah, he's 7
feet. He's not 7 feet.
I don't know.
Well, those are 3 players, right?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, at worst, Joel Embiid, based off of our minds combined, all 3 of us, okay, is a top 4 center in the NBA or top 4 7-footer in the NBA. Mm-hmm. And the only ones who are better are Anthony Davis, Giannis, and Kristaps Porzingis, based off of us, okay? So anyone who I feel like isn't going to take a risk or take on somebody like Joel Embiid, you're kidding yourself. Because how can you do better?
I can agree with that. For 90% of the league. But there's that 10% of the league, which is really the Celtics and the Lakers, that could be like, kiss my ass. Like in the sense of winning isn't. We don't have to risk it all to win. We don't come from that. We're not that kind of franchise.
I just don't
if you're the
understand how taking
Nets,
on Joel Embiid is risking
if you're
it
the
all.
Knicks, because
You trade him if it don't work out.
Yo, you say trading like it's some easy thing to do. There's teams that want to trade players all the time, but they cannot move those contracts.
You cut them.
But granted, but also you cut them. Who are we cutting? This in the NFL.
You don't cut players.
You cut players, you have to pay that contract.
All right,
These contracts
then.
are guaranteed. If I'm gonna pay that nigga 30-something million, he's gonna be in uniform.
It's worth the risk.
No, because if you cut him, then you don't have him and you don't have money to spend. It's not like you cut him.
I'm saying it's worth the risk in the sense of what's the chance of this not working out to the point where this talent doesn't work out. This all-world top 4 level talent, right, doesn't work out, and it's so bad we have to cut him and then eat all that.
We're
money.
not cutting.
There'll
him.
be a position exactly. We won't cut it because there'll be a position where we end up trading him anyway.
Yeah, but you act like
you
you act like trading someone like you're not going to end up losing. Like trade is like by in the fact that you want to trade him drops his stock. Yeah. That drops. So you end up
trades happen.
Why are you saying like this is so easy?
You're saying it like it's rocket science, like it's impossible. We've seen. Listen.
No, because you're saying like he's gonna get traded multiple. Oh, trade for Joel Embiid. If he doesn't work out, trade him again. Every single time he gets traded, his stock is gonna drop. So you're gonna get less and less and less and less. So if you're gonna trade for Joel Embiid, you need to know that you are going to keep him.
I think we're having two different conversations here, because you're talking about trading for Joel Embiid right now. I'm talking. Anytime I reference Joel Embiid, I'm talking about him as an all-level talent, just taking him on.
Why?
Taking him on. Period.
Why? You act like we don't know who he is.
Because he's that talented. Is all I'm saying.
No, people are talented, but if they're not available, your biggest talent is availability.
Of course.
You know, and if you're not available,
and he's in his 5th year now.
Yeah, 5th or something like that. Yeah, 5th.
5th.
I think so. Yeah.
5th, 6th
Well,
year.
he got
at the
drafted in
most.
2014, right?
Yeah, and he missed the first year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess technically 5th or 6th year.
5-6 years playing.
Yeah, I guess at the end, I'm good. I'm good on Joel Embiid. I'm super good. I like in this league, in this league. Yeah, we have so many.
We're in the second round now.
Yeah, I don't need more. I don't need bigs that can shoot. I don't like that shoot as much as he does and plays outside the paint as much as he does. I don't need that. I need you to get down low. I need you to grab boards. We have enough shooters in this league to spread the floor. You know what I mean? I think too many teams are too obsessed with having the big that can spread the floor, because when it's tilted that way, when he shoots really well from outside, the other part of that is usually he don't get down low. He's not getting boards. He's not banging down low. And someone like Joel Embiid, like, he has the type of body to dominate. He doesn't dominate. He puts up good numbers, but when you're getting them from everywhere outside the paint and stuff like that, you're just shooting all night.
Well, I think that's one of the sacrifices that teams are willing to make right now in terms of how offenses are changing in the NBA, where everybody's going smaller and going out there without any real
bigs,
true real bigs out there. It's like they'll take that. They're willing to sacrifice those rebounds, and particularly offensive rebounds you're giving up. We have to straight charge your defense like that to cover the fact that everybody out there can shoot threes.
Yeah.
So with the Nets being up out of here, shout out to the Raptors. I think the Raptors had it in them to sweep them. To be honest with you,
I thought they would just win one game. I thought the Nets would at least get one off of them.
Get one off them, yeah. Gentlemen sweep.
Yeah.
But not straight four.
Didn't the Nets push like an overtime game or some shit?
Maybe.
I think they were close, like one game. But.
Yeah, I think game 2 was their close game. From if my memory of those highlights and watching those games serves me correctly. And Kyle Lowry, any word on him yet?
No, I'm waiting on that shit. I set up all the alerts. I'm like, yo, let me see that ankle, baby. You know what I mean?
Well, with or without Kyle, I say gentlemen sweep. We get them up out of here in 5.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, I think
from watching Toronto all year, their offense, they don't have a bona fide scorer. They have a good offensive system in terms of getting buckets, but that system versus our defense, I think it plays in our hand. Because at the end of the day, you just got to play them down to the final 5-6 seconds of that shot clock and force someone to go one-on-one, and they have nobody. And there's going to be at least 12 to 15 possessions that end that way. You know, that's good. We just got to focus on getting the rebound after that.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
We win at every matchup against this team. It really shouldn't be. Really should. Like I said, we should get them up out of here in 5.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, we watch too much playoff basketball to like in our lifetime to understand that like, yo, listen, you can have a good team, but you need that guy that's gonna, when you need a bucket, he can get you a bucket. And the Celtics have multiple guys, have 4 of those guys. And the Raptors kind of have one, someone that's, in Siakam that's trying to get there. I said kind of.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he is. Yeah. He's working there. Because at the end of the day, it's like, anyways. So I agree 100%. I think that we should beat the Raptors with or without Kyle Lowry in 6 games. Because the one thing we do match up for them better, I think, from 1 to 4. At the 5, things get iffy whether Ibaka or Gasol is starting. But the one place where the Raptors have us is the bench. And it's not about their bench. It's not just about their bench talent. It's about their bench experience. They have championship experience, and they're used to playing a lot of minutes, And that's why, I mean, last night they scored 100 points. Granted, it was their bench scored 100 points, which was an NBA record, all-time record. But in watching that series, there were so many points where I'm like, yo, listen, come on, man. The Raptors are getting looks at this like they would never get those looks against the Celtics. Never. The Nets are missing assignments. They're not getting back on D. They're not calling out screen. Their defense is atrocious. I'm like, that type of shit. Like, and I'm in the Raptors playing the Nets in the first round was really a disservice to the Raptors. To me, because to me, they're not in playoff mode.
Yeah.
They're in like, we're about to whoop on the Nets. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Yeah. But to go from playing the Nets to now playing the Celtics, that's a completely different team you're playing. I mean, a completely different level of talent. And where the Celtics, I feel like at the end of the day, the Celtics were playing a team that matched up better with them. Whereas the Raptors just don't match up with us at all. We beat them 3-1 this year. They only beat us 1 time, and yeah.
I mean, let's not forget they're coming off a championship, so I think that you would think that they might not be ready going against us, but I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess I have a little bit more faith in the Raptors to have like a good series just because they're coming off a chip. So I'm just gonna assume that this is a championship team and they're gonna be ready come the second round. I mean, I guess you kind of have to be at that point. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Is like I agree with like everything you just said there, except for that last point about that team being a disservice. Because I agree with you. Them playing the Brooklyn would have been a disservice. However, the way that they swept them, I was like, no, that shows me, okay, you are a championship level team because this is what you should have done. Hence, that's why I'm willing to give you a game in the second series because I'm gonna give it to the fact that you know what, you guys are a championship team. You should be good enough to win 1 game against this Celtics team, But I don't know. It's the Raptors. They're not gonna put too much of a fight against us.
A couple podcasts ago, I mean, y'all were saying that they are like still a great team, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and my thing is that's why I said like it's a disservice. Like to me, the Raptors are down somebody. The Raptors are the same Raptors team, but they're down 2 people. They're down. They didn't make any great additions. They just developed further. They lost Kawhi Leonard, obviously, and they lost Danny Green. But in that loss, other players were able to step up and get more minutes, get more shots up, able to develop. The same exact thing happened in Brooklyn. They lost KD. They knew they were going to have him. They lost Kyrie, and they lost Spencer Dinwiddie. They lost their 3 best players. And they're completely just playing off of just gas, like just gusto.
Yeah.
That's what the Nets are playing off of. And and the Nets were in the worst position to get in the playoffs, but they went into the bubble. There wasn't really a fight for the playoffs in the Eastern Conference like there was in the West. So you're getting a Nets team that like they're good. They're a really well coached team, but they do not have any consistent level of talent on the team. That's why I'm like, if you're entering the playoffs and you're the Raptors would have been better off playing the Sixers. Yeah. Because they have someone they have to stop. They have something we have to game plan around stopping Embiid, stopping Tobias Harris, Horford, all these veterans that are skilled veterans in all this stuff. Even if they're on bad contracts. Whereas on the Nets, who are you game planning for? Who are you trying to stop? Karis LeVert and stop Allen from getting a lot of boards, or they're not. Whereas now, and this is why it's a disservice. It's not just it's a disservice of who they're playing. It's about who they're playing next. Yeah. They go from having to not have to game plan for anybody really to now having to game plan for Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, like, and you're lucky you're not getting Gordon Hayward as well. So it's like to me, it's like this is a practice round for Toronto. But you know how in football, like, you'll spy as a certain person. Oh, our defense is going to act like you're Michael Vick. And they'll put a wide receiver at quarterback just so he can run, so we can know how it is to defend Michael Vick. Who on the Nets could they have put in the Jason Tatum spot, Kemba Walker spot, Jaylen Brown spot because after game 2, you're like, dog, this is over. Now we really need to start thinking forward. Yeah. And who are we going to practice? Who are we going to spy? How are we going to practice to try to stop that level of talent? Yeah. That's why I'm like, it was a disservice for the Raptors to have to play the Nets the first round, because now the Celtics have had their first real playoff round because they lost Gordon Hayward. Mm-hmm. But to me, this is the Raptors' first playoff round. Yeah. And that's how I see it.
Technically speaking, this Raptors team hasn't lost a playoff round in 5 straight rounds now, though.
Nope.
Just saying. Nope. Listen, I always go back to Rudy T's quote, man. Never underestimate the Harvard champion. No. Fuck Kyle Lowry. That motherfucker's tough, yo. He's tough. He plays like the Celtics.
He is. That's it. Yo, like Kyle Lowry pisses me off. Yeah. I'm like, and we talked about that too, about before we signed Kemba, I'm like, what type of player would you have wanted at the point guard at just low money? Someone we could have got. I would have loved Drew Holiday, or I would have loved Kyle Lowry. I would have loved either one of those if we were able to just sign them on a much lower contract and save us cap room. But I love Kemba, of course. But Kyle Lowry he's a leader. And he's shown that, like, in the times when it was Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, I didn't know who the leader of that team was. I know DeRozan was the better player, blah blah blah. But after seeing him, especially last year with Kawhi, and then this year, you realize that Kyle Lowry is the leader of that team. Even when Kawhi was the best player on that team, Kyle Lowry was still the leader. And he's shown that in the way that if they lost Kyle Lowry, they would have been fucked. They would have been completely fucked. I don't give a damn how good Fred VanVleet is or how he's developed. And shout out to Fred VanVleet. Like, he's a really good player.
He's about to get the bag too.
He's about to get the bag. I wonder when his contract is up. Because some of the Knicks are about to give him everything
this year.
Keep talking. I'm like,
nah, but speaking of contracts, and one contract I wouldn't mind taking on, but it will never happen. Shout out to Luka out there.
Woo!
Shout out to Luka. Listen, here's my rule. New rule alert. If you want to be considered a superstar in the NBA, at some point during your career, you gotta hit a game winner in the playoffs. Yeah. Straight up. Yeah. This is the new rule for the new era. Because the new era has a lot more superstars than the previous era. We're seeing a lot more better talent out there. real bona fide players that, listen, I don't care what year it is, you could take them whatever year. They're dominating the way they're dominating right now. That's a whole nother show for a whole nother topic.
Yeah, and Fred VanVleet, real quick, is going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. So you expect the Knicks to and how old is he? Fred VanVleet is 26 years old.
Yeah.
So the Knicks about to yeah, but back to Luka.
Yeah, Luka. I mean, he's certifiable now, man.
He is.
He's certifiable now. You gotta respect this game. I've been respecting this game. I just felt that the media was overhyping it. Now I'm like, okay, I think the hype may be warranted now. And again, this is less than 24 hours after him hitting that game winner last night.
Yeah. And that's how narratives work, right? Because he hit that. He's cemented now. Yeah. I don't use the word superstar lightly, so I'm not gonna use it with him. But he's cemented now in the media narrative because the Dallas could get blown out the next 2 games and get eliminated, get the fuck out of here. But that story is already written. Luka is the future. Luka's gonna get all the but it's like, but Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell just dropped 50 each last night. 51 and 50 last night. In like
those 2 bad boys right there.
Like fam,
I think D. Mitchell had it.
Donovan Mitchell dropped 50 in 2 times already in 4 games.
Murray, I meant.
Yeah, and shout out to Murray. Like, but but like you're not Luka though. That's what we like. Going back to our story of last week about like when we pick a guy, you're the guy, and we're rolling. Fuck everybody else. But nevertheless, no, Luka, I'm not trying to take anything away from Luka.
Nah, you trying to take away something for the white man. Like,
to be fair, though,
that's all you want to do now.
Dallas does love, like,
yes,
blowing up their, like, look at Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Like, they love Tony Romo. Like,
but you know, it helps to be white.
And
it helps to be white, especially in that market and also in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, if you are white, and you are
Steve Nash got 2 MVPs.
Like,
one of them was over Kobe.
Yeah, and Chris Paul, and I hate Chris Paul.
Now, the one he got over Chris Paul, that was justifiable because it was point guard that year. Yeah. But the one he got over Kobe, Steve Nash got an MVP, and I love Steve Nash. I loved him. But over Kobe.
Yeah, man.
And it also goes back, like, Mad podcast ago when we were talking about like Larry Bird.
Yeah,
I think it was off mic though.
No, it was on mic.
Oh yeah,
it was on mic. Yeah,
Larry Bird is like better than LeBron. And
yeah,
shit.
like people just like,
but you know what I mean.
White people, yo, boy, it's the Eminem effect, bro. It's like you be a little good at something, and black people be like, yeah, he's nice, blah blah blah. You are now in front.
Yeah.
Now
because
you are in front of everybody now.
But that's their market. Bottom line, I mean. My whole thing is I draw the line when it's like, okay, are you overhyped? It's almost like the reverse thing, right? When people say it's reverse racism, like it's like, okay, are we overhyping him because he's white, or are people of color being more sensitive because he's white and they feel like he's being overhyped? Is the overhype real?
I think it's
which side's being over.
I think it's a mix of both.
Mix of both, yeah.
I think it's a true mix of both because what Luka is doing is incredible.
It is,
but at
then
the
when you have Donovan Mitchell,
you have
and Murray,
Lillard, and Murray, and blah blah blah, and all these other players that like have been
dynamite.
Are dynamite, and on top of that, like you mix in the fact that like I was saying, it's so ironic because I wasn't talking shit about Luka. I was like tweeting last night. I wasn't talking shit about him. I was just more shocked, right? If I told you, would you call me a liar? Who shoots better from 3? Luka Doncic or Giannis?
Who has a better percentage?
Who shoots better from 3?
I would think Luka Doncic.
I would say Giannis.
You know what I mean? And see how like you kind of gotta like
Yeah.
Luka shoots 31% from 3.
I was gonna say I would say Giannis.
Giannis shoots 30% from 3. So Luka does shoot a better percentage, but by 1%.
Yeah.
The way that Luka plays, you would think this, and he hits threes, but you would think he was like at least shot 36%, 37% from 3.
That's the Steph Curry effect right there.
He is not a good 3-point shooter at all. He's near the bottom. And like but it doesn't make sense of his game. He's such an anomaly. He's the European player. He's big for his age. He handles the ball, point forward, blah, 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 blah. You would think that, and he has such a great jumper. He has soft touch. He does not shoot well from three, and he shoots like 75% from the free throw line. That doesn't fit like the European player narrative. You're supposed to be almost like you would think that if you missed a free throw from where he came from, they slapped your hand with a fucking steel pipe every time. You know what I mean? The way that they shoot.
Yeah. I don't know.
But that's what I mean about the net. It's like let's and just over like the negative because Luka's Luka, and I would say because Luka's white. There's stuff that gets glossed over. How bad he shoots from three, how he should shoot better from free throw line, and how he turns the ball over a lot. Mm-hmm. But it's like when you don't know. It's like, am I just extra sensitive and making sure that they're not trying to give to him too much light? Or are they glossing over some of the things about Luka at the same time? Mm-hmm. But granted, it's his second year. Yeah. But it's like, who do we what is really going on here? But the one thing that remains true is you do see a lot of these, and I'll throw Bill Simmons' name out there, like the way you see them fawn over someone like him or Jokic or it's like, fam, this is a little much.
You know what's funny? And I'll bring it more so to rap. I think people do the same thing with white rappers.
100%.
Like Post Malone, Logic.
1,000%. And I'm going to tell y'all, what's that white boy? What's that the new white boy?
Jack Harlow.
Yo, I'm watching y'all. We're not about to let Jack Harlow in. Yeah. We're not going to do it. I'm sure if you can, I don't know nothing about the kid, but I'm sure if you just do a little deep dive, he probably comes from some rich white families from somewhere in the South or some shit or whatever. I don't know nothing about him, but I'm not letting him in. Yeah. I'm not letting him in. I'm not going to let y'all do that. I'm telling y'all right now. But yeah.
But to be fair, though, I guess.
And some of these dudes be talented.
Yeah.
They be talented, but I'm not, no.
I think that, I guess in the NBA, right, or I guess in any form of entertainment, most entertainment in America is primarily black.
It
right?
is.
With athletes to musicians to I wouldn't say so much actors, actually, but in the realm of sports, I think that when you have a primarily black league and then you have a standout white guy, I guess, or somebody else who's just not black, I think the media has a tendency, and I don't think it's entirely a bad thing, but the media is probably going to spend more time to big up the star that isn't black.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like
because there's more of them than us.
Because you do,
yeah.
At the end of the day, it's the same thing with Tiger Woods, though, right? Why is it that Tiger Woods is such a superstar? Because he stands out in a sport that's all white.
True.
You know, so it's the exact same thing. When you see a McCaffrey running back out of Carolina, he comes out a running back playing like that. He's white. Damn, I remember that white boy who was a halfback who was dominating for 2 years, made the Madden cover, number 40 for the Browns.
And he never played again.
I
remember, he murdered the Patriots. He murdered the Patriots. He ran all over us that one game.
White boy, though, he was supposed to be the second coming of whoever, and we never hear from him again after he makes that Madden cover.
Yeah.
You know?
But at the same time, though, when you make those kind of arguments, though, you have to kind of be careful because you don't want to take away from
his talent.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Luka's fucking nice.
Listen,
he's nice.
Let me put it this way. Everything you said about Luka, right, is true in terms of overlooking his stats and everything. By Luka year 10 at the latest, all that shit is gonna be for none. He's gonna be shooting 40+% from threes. Yep. His turnovers are gonna be down because all this is how good he is, and he's still raw.
Yeah, raw.
This is him,
21 years old.
This is him just balling out. Still don't know what the fuck is going on out there in the court. Not even doing research like that.
He's nasty. Yet. And you know what the biggest disservice is? The biggest thing I know that grinds.
The intangibles. You know last night, you just that three here last night. Okay, that's a game winner. You're down one.
Yeah,
you don't need
pulled
the
up for three.
Yeah. He could. Luka's so good. He could have dribbled down and gone in for some type of layup, play a throw. He's like, no. I'm gonna get you. I see the mismatch. Double him you. Step back. Bury this three.
Yeah.
Game over.
Yeah.
The heart it takes, those type of intangibles you see. Oh man, this dude.
Yeah. I promise
Dallas is good for the next 10 years.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
good.
Look at see, that's what I'm talking about. Look at Dallas. Look at the organization.
Yeah.
Look who they drafted. Look at who they fucking drafted, and then look at how they were able to get. Tell me what the Knicks got for Porzingis. Tell me.
Goodness.
Tell me. We don't know. We don't know. You know what I mean? But I fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh man.
You said
that was what I was saying about white people. Like about how like they what?
No, I was gonna say what I thought you were gonna go off.
Go ahead. White people. The one biggest knock about Luka, the one biggest knock is dog. White people would have wished he was American.
Oh yeah.
If he was American, boy.
Man.
If my God, if Luka was America, if that nigga was from Indiana or fucking Mr. Indiana or from Wisconsin or some shit, because this is who they want to go to Hayward to be.
Yeah.
That's why they wish death on his ass when he left Utah.
Yeah.
But let Luka had been fucking Peyton Hillis. I think Peyton Hillis was the name of the running back.
You know what I'm saying? See how it comes back to you?
It really wasn't thinking about that shit. Yo, where did that come from? Yo, memory is such a crazy shit.
Yeah.
Memory is such a crazy shit. My file cabinet just threw that name out. It was like, no, you needed that for something else, not for this. When you try to think of a random white name, I should have said Cooper or some shit.
Oh shit.
But yeah, Peyton Hillis was the running back. But yeah, but like if
Luka had been born
Lucas, yo, dog, he would have been
Donovan.
He would have been
Donald.
on everything.
Lucas Donald.
Yep.
He would have been on the presidential ballot right now.
Luka Doncic, no. Luka Donovan.
Yeah, Luka Donovan.
Lucas Donovan.
Lucas Donovan.
Oh my goodness.
Dude.
Got drafted by the Celtics and everything. My goodness.
Oh, nigga.
It would have been a spiritual movement out here in Boston.
Yo.
This is the second coming of Larry.
All lives matter. Lucas's lives matter. Lucas lives matter.
Well, you know, speaking of these all lives matter crowd out here, shout out to the police. All those blue lives out there doing their jobs.
Fuck 12, fuck 12, fuck 12.
Protecting us out here, you know, protecting the citizens. Shout out to them for protecting my homie Masai Ujuri out here.
Oh yeah.
On the greatest night of his life.
Oh yeah.
Greatest night of his professional career. You constructed a championship in Toronto.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You constructed a championship in Toronto.
The Raptors.
Your team just beat the Warriors. A team regarded as like
Dynasty.
What are you doing? You following the rules, walking down to the court, you know, you pulling out your pass, following the rules, because we all know when people look like us and we doing something, we be damn sure to follow those fucking rules.
Following all the rules. All the
Overrules. Overrules.
Mm-hmm.
You do what you're supposed to do. So a police officer takes you, shoves you.
Mm-hmm.
You still remain calm.
Mm-hmm.
You explain, you say,
I'm the president of the Raptors.
my team just won the championship.
Why are you pushing me?
Why are you pushing me? I have my pass. You step towards him to show the pass again. He snatches you, throws you away for
Pushes
the
you
second
again.
time.
Yo!
And of course, this police officer filed the perfect report. I saw it with my own two eyes when I watched the videotape. Masai, another angry black man, attacked that officer.
Attacked him. He attacked him, Jay.
I mean, I can
Angry African.
I can only imagine the suffering and the pain that officer's going through.
Mm-hmm.
He had a concussion.
Do you see how hard he hit his wrist?
Yes. He hit his wrist so hard he got a concussion.
All the officer was trying to do was to make sure that you had the proper credentials to go on the court because it was going to be a very hectic environment.
Shout out to Brian Windhorst. Is that his name? Windhorst is
pronounced Windhorst.
Who, LeBron's babysitter?
yeah,
The writer?
yeah, the writer.
Windhorst, yeah.
Brian Windhorst. I watched him on one of the shows the other day, and he said he was there that night, and he talks about how he didn't necessarily witness the incident, but he was there for that night of the championship, and he talked about like, look, those credentials that you have is like, I was on the court that night and I didn't even have mine.
Because when you got the complexion for the protection,
For the collection.
you will always be granted access.
Huh. Ain't that the truth? You know, and the craziest part about this whole Masai thing is him being full of class throughout. Once they dropped the charges, he was like, all right, cool, whatever, let's move on. It's the cop who sued him.
Yep.
And then he countersued.
Yo.
So that's why they had to put the film out.
Yo.
And shout out to TMZ.
Yo.
TMZ. I'm reading about the video on ESPN. I'm watching the video on TMZ.
nigga. Oh, we got it. Oh, it's live. Oh, yeah. Oh, we got it.
And I swear, like they changed the editing on me too on ESPN. I think the first time they talked about it was like possible video showing da. Then all of a sudden, video showing. I'm like, where's the link for the video?
Oh, y'all niggas, they pussy. They didn't want to put it.
Oh,
We got to put the, allegedly.
Oh man,
That's gonna be one of our segments.
y'all wonder why
allegedly.
Black Lives Matter is written on the fucking court?
Dog. Yo, I like, what other moment I just thought of, like, all I'm thinking about was the moments after that, right? When you see the video and you see, I don't know if it's Kyle Lowry or one of them, like, is like going into the crowd, like trying to get him.
It's Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, it was Kyle Lowry. Like, yo, let him in. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like he grabs him and then they hug each other,
Like when
right?
your homie grab you going to the club.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
He with us
though. And all I'm thinking about is in that moment how Ujuri has to like switch. Like he's coming down like, yo, we did it. We did it. Like he's excited.
Yeah.
Then he's assaulted.
It's the best night of his life.
He's excited, then he's assaulted, and then he has to try and switch back to being excited again. And it's like I couldn't help but just like think about like life. You know what I mean? Like, and what they mean by like trauma and what they mean by like black trauma. Because being black, being a person, period, is trauma filled. And then when you add the multipliers on it, right? Whether you're black, whether you're gay or part of the LGBTQ community, whether you're a woman, whether you're a black woman, all these multipliers, right? That like, and the one thing that like is one of the hardest things to deal with is actually being able to just remain in the moment and be happy in the moment. Not think about the past, not think about the future that, the past that'll bring depression, the future that'll bring anxiety. We try to remain in the moment, right? And we try to enjoy things without like having this like feeling about waiting for the next shoe to drop, And it's like, if you wanted to know what it's like to be a black man in America, or to be black in America, like watch that moment. The moment where it should be the most, because even in your most pivotal, premier moments in your life, you can be reminded that this world thinks you ain't shit. That you don't, like, we already have imposter syndrome. We already have all these things. Imposter syndrome we have to deal with. Survivor's remorse we have to deal with being black. All of these things. And you look at him having to go through that. It's like it's like me crossing the stage at my medical school graduation and they stop me. And they're like, "Who are you?" That's your name? Check Marcellus? Yo, let's get some ID. And everyone is watching.
Put these cuffs on for our safety.
And everyone is watching while they go through and check your credentials after they just let all these white people go through. And now, and then they're like, "Oh, here you are. Oh, here's your medical school degree." And then you just left there. And you're supposed to move on. You're just supposed to, like, how, if it was me, he's a better man than me. He's a better man than me.
You wanted a song on him?
No,
You would've ended the clip on
no. I would have we would have shut everything down. I want him the fuck out of here. Bring the owner down. Bring the way y'all were in Oakland. Bring the owner down. I want to see that dude supervisor. I'm not talking to nobody.
Stop
up on stage, I'm stopping the whole shit. TV could wait. Fuck that shit. Especially the energy that I'm on now. He's a better man than me. Class personified. Because it would have been a problem. It would have been a real fucking problem. And I'm sorry he had to go through that. That's it.
This is America.
Yeah. Don't catch you slipping.
Nah, man. I remember I go back to a post I had a few months ago where I said something to the effect of, I'm just a kid from Haiti trying to make it in America, KKK. And I still feel that way to this day. I mean, there's that element that still runs thick in this country where it's like being black, you always have to make sure you have the proper credentials to prove you have a right to be where you are. Show us your papers. Show us your papers. At any given moment, show us your papers.
Yeah. You ever thought about like not even to like get into this because after this we can go directly into the shooting that happened last night. It's not even on our listing, but it's like, we're gonna talk about it. Just about like, you ever like left the house without your ID and like have like wild anxiety? Like
I used to.
Like like, oh shit, like yo, I can't not have my ID. Like there's times where I want to go for runs or not runs. I haven't run in years. I can't run. But
just going out for a walk.
Going out for a walk and I'm like, I just want to be light. I don't even want to bring my phone.
Yeah.
I just want to go for a walk. I don't want to have nothing on me. But I'm like, I can't. I cannot do that. I can't have nothing on me. At least I have to have my ID on me. At least, it's just going off of what you were saying about like, you better have your shit on you. You better have your credentials. You better have to show the reason why you are here. And we all have gone through that.
Yeah, I used to have wild anxiety related to that, and it was because of that type of shit. Like, I can't be caught out here without at least my ID on me. What if a cop stops me? And then,
for no reason.
For no reason. And then my attorney said, technically speaking, when you're out and about, the only time you technically need any type of real ID is a driver's license when you're driving a car.
Yes.
You don't have to walk around with an ID. It's not a federal law for you to have an ID. Yeah. So when a cop sees you walking down the street and says, "Where's your ID?" Technically, you don't have to say anything to a cop because you always have a right to remain silent. That doesn't exist just when they freaking put the cuffs on you, especially when you're white and can actually flex your rights. Right. Be careful when flexing your rights out here, black people, when I tell you these things. I don't want you to risk your life trying to actually flex your rights out here. Yeah. But anyways, legally speaking, there's no law, no federal law, no mandate that says you even have to have an ID.
You know why? Because if you have to have ID, that is tax.
Exactly.
If you're forced to have anything, you're not forced to own anything.
Just that they make it highly inconvenient for you not to have an ID.
To not.
You want to sign these contracts, you better have an ID.
Yeah.
But anyways, so once I realized that, I said, fuck that. If I ever get caught out here, because I usually walk around with my wallet on me anyways, but those times when I have gone out and I either forgot it or made the decision to go out without it, I'm like, yo, whatever. Worst comes to worst, I'm just going to sit down and not say anything. Keep asking, when am I free to go? Am I being entertained? To that, to lock my ass up or they let me go. Whatever happens, happens.
Right. Fuck it.
Can't walk around with that fear, man. Like, fuck that. You're here to enjoy your life. To hell with that.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we wanted to just finish off on talking about Jacob Blake shortly. Did any of you guys see the video?
I did not know.
No, I'm not even aware of this.
Oh, well, yesterday in Wisconsin, I forgot what the name of the place was. In Wisconsin, I guess the police were called to for some type of altercation. I guess Jacob Blake, from the stories say that Jacob Blake was out there and he was breaking up a fight between two women. Granted, these are just reports. I don't know 100%. And he was breaking up a fight between two women. The police got called, something that he wasn't even involved in. His car was there, and his children, his 3 sons, were in his car, right, in his SUV. And the video starts with a video, somebody taking a video outside of like their window, and it starts with the cops pointing their guns at him, like on the side of the car where you can't see him. And then he circles around his car to go into his car, and the cops are following him, and they're telling him to stop. And he just goes and opens the door to his car, about to get into the car, and then the cops start shooting him from the back, shooting him in his back as he's getting into his car. And they shot him 7 times, or they shot 7 times. I don't know how many times they hit him, but they were in extremely close range.
I'm reading it says 7 times they shot at him.
Gotcha. And extremely close range, to a point where when he was getting into the car, the cop was pulling his shirt to try and stop him from getting in the car while he's pointing the gun at him. And they both start shooting at him. And then all you hear is him hit the steering wheel. They hit the steering wheel. The horn starts going off, and there's a girl there screaming at them to stop shooting or whatever. And he hasn't passed, thank God. He was in critical condition all last night, and then late last night he got out of surgery, but he's still in the ICU. There was reports that he passed away, but I guess those reports were not correct.
Jacob Blake is his name?
Jacob Blake.
Prayers up for Jacob Blake. Hope he comes out of that.
Yeah, and and then in Wisconsin last night, of course, that broke out into a lot of protesting. A ton of protesting. I think a few things went up in flames. Riot police came out, woo-woo, the whole shebang. And I just wanted to, if you do end up watching the video, I will say this. It's once again a really tough thing to watch. To put it in the type of, it sounds sick, but it's like to put it in rankings. We've seen worse. But it's
the way
still
you described it. I was thinking of a completely different shooting. I was thinking to myself, I've heard of this shooting.
Oh yeah,
but it wasn't in Wisconsin. And the way you described it, I'm like, this is very recent.
Yeah,
there was another shooting. I saw the video of it where you have black man pulls into a gas station, and the video is from the cops' cruiser showing you everything. Right? You see the black man pull in a pickup truck, pull into the gas station. He steps out of his truck. The police officer steps out and shouts at him, "Show me your effing ID." Black man shrugs his shoulders, says, "Okay," turns around to go into his truck to grab his wallet.
And he
Cop
shoots him. Oh yeah, I've seen that. That video was a few years old.
That was a few years old.
Yeah.
But this is a similar situation where you, in terms of them being that close to him while he's going into his car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like this. I don't need to watch that type of cop murder porn anymore. I'm just interested to see when the facts come out. Prayers up. I really hope that man stays alive to tell his side of the story.
Yeah.
Because we already know what the narrative is going to be if he dies, and they'll end up just cutting a check to his family eventually, but he'll still be dead and gone, and who cares? Another black man killed by the government.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
just so people understand this, when they say black lives, specifically with relations to police officers killing unarmed black men, this is government murder. When a police officer who's given power by the government to execute certain rights that involves ending people's lives, that's the government doing that.
It is.
So never forget that connection there.
Government sanctioned murder. Yeah. I mean, they've already started. The stories. I guess the story from the police already was that they were trying to tase him. And he was fighting off the taser. Blah blah blah. So they pulled their guns out. Whatever. The officers have already been put on administrative leave. I guess the commissioner or something like that already said something about like something around the words. I wasn't using the exact words, but just condemning excessive force and shit like that. And
sure did.
And yeah,
And that's just another nigga they try to kill. You know, it continues. Everything that they are doing in the NBA with the Black Lives Matter on the court, with the social, like, I'm really interested to see what's gonna happen, what's gonna come out today, what certain players are gonna say, things like that. I'm waiting to see what Jaylen Brown does, because he is a leader and he's extremely intelligent kid, and I'm wondering to see what a lot of the players are gonna say and how they're gonna address this whole thing. Of course, these things didn't stop. They just stopped getting caught on camera. So this is just the newest one that was caught on camera. So yeah, man.
That's it.
That's it, baby. We hit everything. Thank you guys for listening. Another week's episode 14. We've been happy to have you, and we really appreciate you listening. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.